Okay. So I'm Allison Amaya, and I work at the law firm of Hugo Alfaro. Oh, how do you go next? Just click. Okay. So I'm Allison Amaya. I work at the law firm of Hugo Alfaro. I decided to intern at this place because I am pursuing to become a criminal defense attorney. I'm very outgoing and speak two languages. And with that being said, that kind of put me in a position within my internship that gave me a very good spot to work my way up. So I got an opportunity of upper mobility within my internship. Go next. So we're gonna cover like about my company, the kind of work that I did as an intern, mission and values, and then the business model. So about my company. So we are, well, Hugo Alfaro is a private attorney, and he started up his own business. He was associated with Fidel Castro. He is an attorney for car accidents. He also does some kind of medical works in there. And they were both in the same office working together at like a partnership. So he did that aspect of law, while Hugo did the criminal and immigration aspect of law. But finally he decided to, draw a line and make his own company. And our office is very small. It's composed of 5 individuals, not including myself. So I'll be like the 6th person. So he is a private attorney that deals with all types of immigration cases. This includes deportation, affirmation, defense of asylums, family petitions, motions, visas, bonds proceeding, visas, and much more. Within his criminal cases, he specializes in violations, infractions, and misdemeanors. I think there's been only like one case where it was a felony, which I wasn't supposed to read, but I was a bit nosy and I read the full case. But it was a very rough case to read. Okay, about my internship, what do I do? I know filing does sound a bit boring and a bit like a drag sometimes. But I think prior to my knowledge, filing has really like expanded my knowledge within this field. Not only because I'm not just filing just to put away, I'm filing to acknowledge the work, the case, and honestly organize it the way it should be organized. So as you file and actually read the cases or read what kind of case it is, you learn the language that is applied within the law career. And then you also get to know more about what is it that you're doing and what is it that the attorney, the paralegals are doing within the office. So of course, although filing becomes such a dull and momentous task, although it does become an essential part, not only for the office to have, the cases organized, but it becomes essential for your knowledge. I'm also within the office, I'm also doing, within my internship, I was also doing applications. I started doing applications more towards like the end of my internship because they entrusted me with it. Applications typically are usually for immigration cases, in regards to making up and filing a motion, an application for the attorney to send it out to the courts. And basically it's just applying for, let's say, work permits if an immigrant doesn't have a work permit, or if an individual doesn't have tax visas, and much more. So I've met up with 2 clients actually. They have entrusted me to. It was very hectic because I was nervous, and I'm very I feel like I'm one of the youngest ones there. And so they're entrusting me to actually talk to a client, and the client has to know, like, you look young, but you have to know what you're doing, you know? So with these applications, it became very hectic to me, but I think I overcame my nervousness. Once I showed that I was very confident in what I was doing, and I actually was confident in what I was doing because I did ask questions prior to entering the meetings. And I recently just filed an application for a family. It was a family notion of asylum. So I'm very proud of that. And then, so one of my perks of interning at this place was also being bilingual. So they entrusted me with translation. So when you come in, regardless if it's a criminal or immigration case, they need your information. So let's say if you're filing for an asylum, you do need your birth certificate, let's say from another country, Guatemala or El Salvador. Regardless of where it's from, you still need that information, but it also needs to be translated so the judge can read it in a way where it's understandable. So I have to create like templates of like kind of like translating, like literally physically translating a birth certificate or any medical papers, just translating it to English to the T. And when I tell you, not even just speaking translations are hard, but creating translations are even harder, in my opinion. Okay, mission and values. So the values of my company, I barely can see over there, sorry. The values of my company are to implement a service in which one is able to have a fair trial and we don't try to prioritize one case over another. So I think I'm gonna talk more about this in the sociological aspect of what I've learned within the office, but we try not to prioritize cases over another. That's simply just because even though, let's say, one story is more touching than another one, that doesn't mean that we have to prioritize that case, because everyone deserves a fair application and enough passion for us to fight for these cases. Our mission is we strive to create an environment where the client is able to feel confident and safe that their case matters to us. So I think that's one of the important missions that we try to implement within the environment of our office is whenever a client comes in, that they feel safe, that they came to a place where they're able to actually be calm and know that their case is going to be prioritized regardless of where we are in our cases. So a quote that the attorney has within the office, he has it like up in I don't know, it's like a frame, but it has like this quote, and I think it's very important to me because I always see it when I sit down in my little cubicle, and it says, let us realize that the privilege to work is a gift, the power to work is a blessing, and the love of work is a success. I think that speaks within itself. My organization, I think I've written this in one of my assignments as well. It is a hierarchy. How do you say it's a
Hierarchy?
no.
Hierarchical.
Yes, there you go. I don't know. So it's an organization where there are rules, procedures, and where employees are structured in a way where there's a supervisor and there's, levels. And I think this is important because I think the part where it says the power to work is a blessing, I think working there working in general in that office is prioritized. Like, you have to work. It's a constant, like, it's a function. It's like an organ. You have to constantly work, and in order for all of the whole organization, for all of us to actually get work done. So if, let's say, I don't finish a task and I don't communicate that to someone, then we're off. we're off to a bad start and we get backtracked all the way. So again, communication in this aspect is important. So you just gotta love working and doing what you love, and that's the only way to be successful, especially in this kind of environment. So let's go to the next one, our target. So mostly I would say we predominantly work with minorities, in particular Hispanics. There's like a range of 10% clientele of whites, 75% of Hispanics, and 15% of others. Within our company, we try to help minorities. The lawyer is Hispanic himself and has aided many different Hispanics as their stories become very impactful. So he tries to, again, I feel like he has this quote up to understand that he loves what he does. And prior to loving what he does is because of his experience and being Hispanic himself and having his family be immigrants. And also, I think he discussed this with one of my coworkers, how one of his family members was also did a crime and he wasn't responsible for that crime. So it's just, he really went into a field that he wanted to because of his experience, and he loves the work he does. And you can tell he loves the work he does because he really prioritizes each and every case, and not just only one over another, but he really does prioritize each and every case. So the next part is the sociological aspect of it. So a silent knowledge that I think is very important that I didn't know I should have been doing within this work field is the fact that you have to, I think I spoke about this before, you have to kind of set your emotions aside. The clients are there because they want to be heard. And they don't want sympathy. They don't want to be like, oh my God, like, they don't want to hear, oh my God, I understand. Like, oh my God, that's so terrible. No, they don't want sympathy. They don't want you to be saying, oh my God, poor people, this and that. No, they want to be heard and they want you to help them with their case. And that is the number one priority there. Of course, I think it is important to emotionally detach yourself within these cases, because I know I read one case and it touched me, and I kind of tried to talk to one of my coworkers about it, and she was like, well, you need to like not show your emotions too much because it's just not right. And I didn't really understand that, and I was just like, wow, like, this girl's kind of mean. But no, she was saying it because it is an important aspect, especially in this kind of environment. You have to emotionally detach yourself in order to get work done, because you can't be dwelling on certain feelings and, oh my God, like I want to do more for these people. No, if we're gonna get work done, we're gonna get work done, and that's how you keep this this kind of environment working. And then, so some successes that I've gotten in this internship is just learning how to translate better. I feel like at a young age, my mother would always give me documents and say, translate this to me, write this for me. At a young age, I learned how to write like a check. I learned how to do paperwork that, only assistants are supposed to do for her. But that's only because she thought since I knew the language, it was easier. So since a young age, I already knew how to do these paperworks, translate. And I feel like being confident and actually doing translations, but like these are different kind of translations. These are translations of actual like birth certificates, which is like, if you mess up, that's it, you mess up. And there's no going back. And like you kind of, in other words, like if you do mess up, you kind of put the license of your attorney at risk. So you just gotta be very tedious about it, but I've been very confident in the way I've translated, not because of prior experience, but because I take my time with it, I double check these kinds of translations. Another success that I've had within my office is understanding how to emotionally detach myself. I think I'm very in tune with my emotions and I'm very vulnerable when when I want to be. Um, and just like reserving my feelings and emotions has been a bit hard, but it's not hard. It's pretty much a learning experience that you have to like understand, because not everyone needs to know your emotions, not everyone needs to know how vulnerable you are, especially in this aspect with being a listening ear. You have to, save face and understand that you have a work to do and you have to listen and it's not even only about listening because you want to understand the person, but listening because you have to have every detail in order to do whatever you've got to do for this case. I also, another success that I had is that with everything that I've been doing, they offered me a placement as a paralegal within that job. So I'm kind of happy about that. And it's gonna be four days a week. So I have like a couple days off, which is good because I want to study for the LSAT. So pretty much the reason why I kind of went into this field, into this internship, is because I do want to become a lawyer potentially. And I think because I am a person of color, because I am Hispanic, I want to do cases within the criminal aspect of it, but not only just criminal defense. It's more in particular working hands on hand with the Innocence Project and kind of exonerating individuals who have been placed within the judicial system that are not supposed to be there. And I think there's a lot of injustice there. And I think like with this internship, I got a broader aspect of how an environment in the office works and how like, let's say like if I were just to be thrown to to get, let's say, a case, and I didn't know how to emotionally detach myself to begin with, then how was I going to actually work on a case? So in regards to my final paper topic, sorry. So in my final paper, I will be touching base on the impact of diversifying I will be discussing the impact of diversifying white collar jobs. Again, being an attorney. Within this research, I will touch base on the upper mobility of race and gender, and as well as the impact of race, gender within the judicial system as an attorney. So basically, within my paper, I'm trying to study the impact of diversifying just this white collar job of being an attorney. I think that there's so much data within that, and just knowing the impact of having people of color behind each and every case fighting for them is just very interesting to me, because my office is actually predominantly Hispanic. Like there's no white, I think there is downstairs, there's a African American woman, but regardless, I think we do very well in what we do. And I feel like the impact of just us being of color is like very interesting. And I think that's why a lot of our clients come in and they feel safe because they see people like us trying to help them, and they feel like, okay, like they feel more at ease. They feel I've come to this place and I think I can connect to these people and they can help me because they know how it is to be this certain way, to look this certain way, to feel this certain way. So I think that's an important aspect as well. And that's it.
Thank you.